I hope you have had a nice weekend. Let's get into Real Housewives of New Jersey, Season 13, Episode 9. Like, subscribe, and hit the notification button. Word on the street, you guys, is BravoCon's going to be in Las Vegas this year, and they're going to be announcing it any minute. If so, how could you not have one of these in your suitcase? Be the only ones that have them. Did you know, or 25,000, or nosy see you next Tuesday, or the train wreck scene. Okay, the link is in my description. First, I want to share a few receipts that came out today to make sure you didn't miss them, and then we'll start the recap, of course, like we do. By the way, I dropped a huge amount of tea in the Patreon to do with New Jersey if you're interested. You could always go just look at the feed. You know that, right? You don't have to sign up. You can just go see what I'm up to in there. You just download the Patreon app on your phone or go to the desktop version and log in under your login and then look for Dishing Drama Dana and you'll see what I'm doing in there and you'll see what it's all about. You can then decide if you want to pay the $6 a month and also help my YouTube channel. First, I want to talk about what everybody has been saying, which is, why does everyone spray tan on New Jersey look like Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory Oompa Loompa? Just saying. So I did drop additional receipts to the pizza story I was telling you between Gorga and Giudice. But here's some interesting proof. It looks like on eBay, Teresa did launch her pizza oven thing. Here it is. There's the pizza oven in the picture and the family, and it's called Skinny Italian. So, yeah, I guess she actually is trying to sell the ovens that Louis received. That's a real thing. We've ordered one, and we'll just see what's in it. But you guys didn't believe me. Here's the proof. They actually released it, but they haven't promoted it, oddly. So they just kind of put it out there, and I guess they're trying to get rid of those ovens, you know? Anyway, for what it's worth. Some of you didn't believe me. I don't know, guys. What can I say? No reason to lie over here. I'm the outcast. So we're starting to get a little more intel on Polly in this week's episode, which made me excited. We find out that Polly has an ex-wife that he is close to, but not as close as Dolores has been with Frank Catania. He also has two sons. One is 17 and one is 21. And so we kind of get a feel for that. In addition, we get a sense that Polly's house that he's living in with Dolores, you know, kind of looks like a really nice townhouse on camera, but we're getting the feeling from all the different women commenting on it that it's much bigger than that. And it looks like when they start to show a little more of it on this week's episode, it's like a big 4-story mansion overlooking the water and like really stunning location. And the women are very impressed by it. So supposedly Polly is 10 years younger than Dolores. He's supposedly in his early 40s and Dolores, of course, is in her early 50s. But like, wait, I don't think so. Polly seems like he's her age. So I think that all the write-ups about Polly's age might be wrong. I feel like they're closer in age than what's been written. Just saying. Also, he must own like an electrical business that owns multiple trucks. Like he runs many electricians and not be an electrician. They made him sound like he was just like a one-man show electrician, but it seems like he's got like an empire of electricians or something to afford where he lives. Anyway, back to the drama. Polly is like, you need to have a sit down with Frank and set the record straight that he's the past, I'm the future, and he's unhealthily close to you. And he seems to kind of be a little bit bothered, like he feels like Frank still has a crush on Dolores, and Dolores is like, no, he doesn't have a crush on me, honestly. It's or an attachment to me, they call it, but I mean, same difference. The point is that she says he just doesn't like change, and that's what it's about. So that makes Polly relax a little bit because he's typical Irish jealous, you know? I don't know why this filter reminds me of Rachel Fuda, but it does. She's all into pinky stuff. All right, so now I'm going to play you something Rachel Fuda says on the show tonight about her jobs in herself and her husband, because it's a little tea that you might not be aware of. Rachel does not promote any of her businesses on her Instagram or social media, and her husband's kind of secretive about it, but I did find out a long time ago about his parking company, which she mentioned. So hold on, I'll tell you some tea about that in case you haven't heard it.
When are you going to go to school?
She starts in September. For me, I'm very type A, very regimented. Like, what's your toxic trait? Being a perfectionist. John and I have our hands in a bunch of different businesses. We have our parking company, we have concierge, we have tile, we have a burger store, but we just do things completely different. Like, I come from a corporate background and he comes from the streets. So he's more fly by the seat of his pants, where I'm like, okay, we'll talk at 3 p.m.
Sort of begs the question of what her corporate job was, doesn't it? I mean, just saying to your husband, let's meet at 3 doesn't really kind of ring true to a corporate person, right? If you said something like, let's set a meeting and schedule a time to talk about that, then yes, but not just let's talk at 3. I kind of felt like that was inauthentic, just calling that out. Love to know what she did. Okay, so that's some tea that was dropped on the episode. Then we kind of move off this BS, which is the Dolores Polly thing, which I enjoy, but you know, it is kind of BS. And then we move through Rachel Fuda's backstory. I don't want to be petty, but Rachel Fuda's guy got sued for one of his valet contracts with a big car dealership in New York City. I think it's still going on. Shh. I can't believe no one brought that up to her. I mean, Danielle Cabral needs to get on her shit. She could have ripped that sucker out and shut Rachel Fuda up real quick. If they would have kept it in. We then move on, and Dolores and Jennifer Aydin decide to have a lunch together to make up. They are ready to put their problems behind them and start afresh. Okay, so then there's this very fake scene where Dolores and Jennifer Aydin have lunch together. Jennifer Aydin and her talk for like 2 minutes, and somehow they resolve all their problems. It's very fake seeming. And why is it fake seeming? Because I'll tell you right now, if Jennifer Aydin said I look like an old handbag, you can damn well know that bitch is going to have to work a lot harder than 2 minutes to get my friendship back. Okay, sorry. But anyway, I'm sure the producers made them do it. So then Jennifer Aydin says that her issue with Dolores is that Dolores was talking smack about her and making comments. And Dolores is like, you should have been communicating with me better, telling me what makes you mad. And I didn't know you were having problems at home. I would have laid off you. And Jen and Dolores agree to, from now on, tell each other on the spot when something bothers them. And Dolores is going to be more careful in her comments that she makes that might be off the left or right of her mouth. Okay, so then Teresa calls and she says that she had a meditation. And in the meditation, she imagined Jennifer Aydin and Dolores and her wedding party as her bridesmaids, and she asked them if they would do it, and they of course say yes. This is obviously surprising to Dolores, who wasn't invited to Teresa's engagement party, which was very strange and was a very big slight at the time in Bravo land. At the time, everyone speculated that it was because Dina Manzo was a big part of this engagement party that was happening, and Dolores and Dina don't talk. They're not friends. They don't like each other in real life, on camera, anywhere you find it. They don't like each other. Mainly, I think Dolores more than Dina, because Dina's on this big spiritual thing right now, but whatever, there it is. So, this happens. And then of course the question is, well, why isn't Dina going to be a bridesmaid in Teresa's wedding, or her first, her maid of honor? I mean, wouldn't you think that, right? Because Dina and Teresa were doing all these trips, her and Louis, and Dina and David, her new guy, And then what happened? Well, we in Bravo Land heard what happened a few months ago before this aired. And then Joe Gorga confirmed tonight on the show that David called him and told him he did have a falling out with Louis Ruelas. This is Dave Canton and Dina Manzo, and Dave is Dina's man. And there you can see Dina Manzo is still wearing evil eye protection earrings. Wow. She must feel like dark clouds all around. David had a falling out on a business venture with Louis Ruelas that didn't go the way it was expected. And as a result of that, Dina and Teresa's relationship got strained, and David and Louis's relationship got strained. And so Dina was no longer going to be a maid at her Teresa's wedding. And so now that left a space for Dolores, her other long-term friend, to come back into the bridesmaid as sloppy seconds to Dina Manzo. Unfortunately, that's cruel for me to say, but 100% true, because if Dina could have been there, that's who she preferred to have. She made that abundantly clear in her actions with the beginning of the bridal party stuff and what she was putting on social media at the time, which was very Dina Manzo oriented. They were doing podcasts together. If you go back through my playlist of New Jersey and Time and watch a few of those, you'll see me mention it. I might have even shown some footage of Dina and Teresa having spiritual conversations. I think I covered that, or maybe that was just in the Patreon. Another business deal goes P-Tong, right? With Louis Ruelas, another one. Pretty much, I don't want to be a buzzkill, but I'm going to tell you that a few more are going to come out that Louis Ruelas did, and those went P-Tong too, and you're going to find out about them probably closer to the end of the season. Yeah, I know. So start writing them down. All the business deals that go P-Tong with Louis Ruelas. So although Teresa asked Jen Aydin and Dolores to be her bridesmaids, as viewers, we do not see this until later in the show when they announce it to Melissa Gorga at Dolores's and Jen Aydin's coffee grind reading party. Okay, so now before I continue the recap, I need to ask you something. Did you notice that Jennifer Aydin keeps mentioning that her husband, Bill Aydin, keeps going into the pool house for hours at a time when he's home and isn't hanging out with the family? And I'm telling you right now, if that is not made up for the show, that is such a red flag. I take it from me, I know, right? Because my ex cheated on me horrifically. Usually men, when they're hiding in a closet or an office all day in the house or a pool house or whatever, it's because they're talking to the person that they're having an affair with. And they're communicating with them there. And then they come back when they have to, interact with the family briefly, and then they go back out because they're excited by that person. So they want to interact with them and stuff. I mean, when you guys say something, if your friend was like, my husband comes straight home from work after being there all day and then spends all day in the pool house by himself and wants to be alone, wouldn't you be like, do you think maybe he might be talking to someone in there or doing something he doesn't want you to hear? Right? Because it's not watching TV. He could do that in the main house. He wants privacy. Now ask yourself why. Okay, so then they cut to this scene, which we didn't see last week, but did happen previously at Rachel Fuda's house. And that is of Louis Ruelas literally crying his eyes out like a 5-year-old child that lost his favorite toy, like that kind of sobbing. Like this. About the fact that Melissa Gorga and Joe Gorga and Teresa can't work out their problems in time for the wedding and are fighting so badly, and he's in the middle of it and he's weeping and crying. Now, let me give you some insight, okay? I don't know this to be true. I'm just telling you from my experience. I would say that Louis Ruelas got so upset when he was filming, so amped, because when the cameras are around, your adrenaline goes up, all your emotions are 10 times higher than they normally would be. That's real. I think he got upset. He screamed at Teresa and then also lost his temper with Joe on camera. I believe that. And I think his crying was about his behavior that got caught on camera, besides being maybe sad too. I'm serious. I've seen it happen where people are on camera and you think they're crying about one thing because of the show story. They're crying about something completely else. May not even be on camera, like something behind the scenes. Could be a fight with the producers. I've seen girls cry from fighting with the producers about something, and then they actually cry on camera. Yeah, and you think it's about the story. It's about something that the producer said. Yeah. So that's what I think was happening with Louis. But, oh, God, that he's going to be dying when he sees that. All right. So then we see the little scene where Joe Gorga talks about Louis Ruelas to Melissa Gorga. He's just like, this guy comes in like he's God. He thinks he's a guru. He's going to make everything better, but he needs to work on himself. Look at all the bad press that came out from his exes and all this crazy stuff that we've heard about and seen him do. And like, he should just be worried about him and forget worrying about us as a family. Like, it's a joke. And then he says that, then he tells the story about Dina and David and the fact that Louis Ruelas had a business dealing fall apart with them too. Okay. So then we jump to another scene. Danielle is talking to Teresa. She's saying she's so upset that they were talking about her and her brother and saying that her brother and, her situation was a lie about the Instagram and all this stuff. She's furious. She can't believe she's left. She says it over and over. I shouldn't have left. I shouldn't have left. She shouldn't have left because I'm sure the producer made her feel really insecure. Like, you can't just keep leaving because if you do that, you're not going to be able to stay on the show. So she was like probably saying a lot of that to kind of like come back from that. I hear the little birdies in her ear with that. But anyway, she's telling Teresa on the phone all this stuff, and she's like, I'm going to get angry for the both of us. Teresa's like, great. Why is she like, great? Because she can't go to Dolores's coffee grind reading party, which she has unfortunately tested positive for COVID. So now we move on to the coffee grind reading. I prefer iced coffee. So the women arrive at Polly's beautiful house and can't get over how nice it is. Jennifer Fessler is like, I'm going to steal Polly away because he's rich and handsome, and Dolores is really loving it, and all the women love the house, and everybody goes but Teresa. There's some tension between Danielle and Rachel Fuda because Danielle feels like she threw her under the bus. There's a little tension between Danielle and Jackie because Jackie's, been prying about the brother. Melissa Gorga's kind of got Danielle's back because she's going to try to help her, I guess, with her bougie store a little bit, and she's made a little bit of a connection with her. We don't really see that play out on the show. They cut that out. They definitely shot it, but they did not. They cut Melissa and Danielle becoming friends out of the Today Show, but they did shoot it. You could tell. It's funny, you see Dolores telling the cooks and stuff, if the women start fighting, just ignore it, which was a very clever way to prep them for a housewife party, because actually none of us did that. And it is horrific when you're in a public place if you don't prep people that there could be fighting. Like, it's so embarrassing. So that was kind of cool. Actually, I would use that. I'm going to use that in the future. If that ever happens to me, I'm going to be like, just don't let all this crazy shit bother you, okay? Your food isn't terrible if anyone says it. So smart. Then we see the women eat. Danielle Cabral and Rachel have a bit of a fight. Really all it is Danielle saying, I care that you threw me under the bus. And Rachel's like, why do you care? And she deflects. And, she's like, I just repeated what you said or what we talked about. And she's like, but you made it sound like I was doing something bad, and I wasn't. We were just doing coffee talk or conversation about Margaret, and you made it look like I was coming for Margaret, and I'm not coming for Margaret. Anyway, they have like a kind of crap fight for New Jersey, but whatever, they're new, so we'll give them a break. And then there's a little tension between Jennifer and Margaret still, and it was boring. The big moment of this scene really isn't these fights. They're kind of background noise. The big thing is that Dolores and Jennifer Aiden say to the women, we're going to be bridesmaids at Teresa's wedding in front of Melissa Gorga. And Melissa Gorga's face is that she's crushed. And Jennifer Aiden could not wait to say it. She said it with such glee. This was Jen's face when she told Melissa that she was going to be a bridesmaid in Teresa's wedding. Kind of thirsty, really. Come on now, Jen. She knew she was going to hurt Melissa. Jennifer's kind of she's got a dark side, that lady. I don't know. So then it's time for the coffee grinds reading to begin, and it seems as though Jennifer Aiden or a producer prepped the woman in what to say in the cups and all this stuff because it seems fixed. The one that I did enjoy was Dolores's, that Polly is going to ask her to be married soon. And when the woman says it, he seems happy about it and not like the opposite, which really made me like him and made me happy. That he didn't do that typical like New Jersey look, oh, I don't like it, kind of thing. All right. Here we go.
Dolores Catania, I need your cup, please.
Sit down.
Dolores, I have to say this. Your cup is actually very short and sweet. There's a ring in your finger.
Oh my God.
It's coming soon.
Oh my God.
Dolores knew I just got chills.
I did too.
That's freaking me out.
Thanks, Angela.
This girl's gonna live in the castle in Ireland.
Oh my
Yes.
Dolores is so happy. What if she got married? I think is gonna make Frank very, very sad because Paulie is not the type of guy where you guys are gonna go for play dates and stuff.
Now, I just want to say, who cares? Sorry, Frank. Move. He's got a girlfriend. It's so warped. All right. The other thing I wanted to point out is, it's weird. Polly's from Ireland, but and he's obviously super successful, but no one's heard of him in Ireland. No press about that guy in Ireland. It's so weird. It's a small place, so I was surprised. Anyway, wonder why. Maybe he left when he was really, really young.
It's Rachel's turn. Hey, Rachel, it's on you, babe.
All right. First thing that pops up is a big V.
Vagina. No, I'm just kidding.
Representing victory. Either the next 3 months or the next 3 years, something significant will happen.
So, my husband and I are going through something right now with our oldest son, potentially going to court, so I can adopt my stepson. That, to me, is the most significant thing in my
And
life.
that's what it's meant for.
Okay.
You guys win at the end.
Right.
Yeah, that's amazing.
From the next 3 months, the next 3 years, it could be anything. When she says it, the woman was like, yeah, that's the ticket. It's the adoption. So the next readings are kind of BS. It's like Jennifer's marriage is, he really loves her. And the other one is Margaret. It's that Laura Lee Jensen, is going to betray her. And they're setting up the next week's episode. It was pretty obvious. We don't really hear Jennifer Fessler's. We don't hear Jackie's because they're friend of, so they cut that out. Okay, so then the lady says that Danielle was not in her brother's wedding and that hurt her a lot and that they both cry about it and someday they'll come back together again. This is what the coffee cup says. So Jackie says, I hope that comes true for you. And Danielle's like, no, you don't, bitch. You don't. You were coming for me. And Jackie backs down and says no, I want good things for you. I just was curious. The story didn't add up. We really wanted to get to the bottom of it. Obviously, you're not going to tell us, okay? And we certainly don't want to drag this out for another freaking episode over this dumb story. So we're going to let it go now. See, this is why I couldn't be on this show, because I would say things like that, and then I'd screw up the whole filming. I used to do stuff like that. Because this is the dumbest thing I've ever sat through. Anyway, noticeably missing from the coffee cup reading was Melissa's. Dolores is on Ozempic and has lost like 20 pounds. So has Margaret, but a different version of it. And so everybody's on this and losing a ton of weight. So guess who's calling the doctor next week? I'll let you know how it goes, guys. They definitely aren't featuring Melissa like they normally do. They sort of have her on the side. It's very unusual. I thought you might want a little update on Joe Giudice. He's with his kids right now, and they're celebrating with Jennifer Aydin's family. I think they might even be in the Bahamas. I couldn't really tell. So they did like a video. It was really cute. And then he made it into like a music video montage. By the way, do you know what Joe's doing now for a job? Let me show you. I'm really rooting for Joe. I really hope he gets a new start and, you know, he can recover from everything he's been through. He's been through a lot. So, you know, I hope people hire him as this consultant. I mean, there's no better lesson than being a celebrity who goes through an indictment. Yeah, it's something. So let's hope that Joe can help other people with his experiences. I know his daughter is trying to be a criminal attorney, and I think together they'd be an awesome team.